Welcome, ladies and gents, to yet another episode of They Said, We Said. Greetings and salutations to you all. Today we have Mr. Gendo was right as our special guest. We've got Hammerthy Solo on them sticks. We got Cozy
Always.
Beluga in her treehouse. So before we get to the usual panel, Mr. Gendo, please tell us more about yourself. Tell us about your gaming journey, where it started, where you're at, and when you end, don't sit on the fence. Tell us which is the greatest video game of all time and which is the current best console. Go.
I started as a PC gamer. I didn't even see a console until I was like, 7, 8 years old, because we did. So I was a DOS PC gamer like from age 4 when I started, and got a PS5. Oh, not PS5. I wish. Got a PS1. Late 90s, early 2000s, a hand me down. But the first time I played on one was close to when they launched, like 90, 96, 97 ish. On my uncles who had all gaming stuff like ZX Spectrum and the big TV and hi-fi, and was aspirational to me. With a 20 centimeter TV, what that is in inches, 10 inches. Well, how big is that? I don't know. Console side, I've mainly been a PlayStation guy. That is what I prefer. I own an Xbox, but I would still choose PS5 at the moment, just because I like their approach to doing almost everything.
Oni alert!
Oh my God, look, you're coming out hot. You're coming out hot.
You have to wait till he gets his. You have to wait till he gets to the show. You don't want to scare him off forever.
Luke came on the set telling Cozy, "Oh, you best respect, you best respect, you best respect," and he gets 2 sentences in, and Luke's just sitting there, pony alert, pony alert, fucking dick.
All right. You guys settle down. Cozy, sorry, Gendo, please finish. Please finish.
That whole thing is kind of weird to me, because it's not like where I come from. You had a choice between like PlayStation and something else.
Yep.
Selling consoles in our country, so we got locked into those ecosystems. I've only ever seen an original Xbox in my life once, and that's it. I've never seen one again. It's only from Xbox 360 when anybody in this country could buy one, and I think it's only from Xbox One when anybody started buying them. But I mean, in this country, Xboxes stay on the shelves, and PS5s don't do the shelves. They sell out in like a minute or two. Obviously, it's a cultural thing, right? I mean, it's like we don't have a history with Nintendo either. People aren't really Nintendo fans in this country from like the NES and SNES. We didn't have that stuff. We had Chinese clone consoles of the NES. That's what we played. One common in China. I don't know if you've heard of that, but I mean, that's what you bought at the flea market, and then you bought like cartridges with like 100 games on them. And that wasn't because people were cheap. That's because that was the only thing you could buy. Nobody was. We were under like sanctions for a long time. Nobody was allowed to sell anything here. So I got to shake that sort of, like, in America, some people say when they say Nintendo, they mean any video game. They use it like Hoover. And in South Africa, I heard people say like, "Oh, that's a PlayStation. No, it's an Xbox," and they go, "Oh, what's the difference?" Because like ingrained is, if you don't know anything about video games, and every console is a PlayStation. Because PlayStation is like a generic term for a console.
Okay. So PS5 is the best, and can you tell us? Can you tell us what's the greatest Sorry.
the PS5 and this
He-
Series X are
he
so freaking
being
similar.
A goof. A doofus.
No, but you did say you would take the PS5 right now, correct? From all the consoles.
Reasons, obviously, but because some of the games I wanted to play on there, not on the other console. Not that I'm happy with that situation. I wouldn't care if it was on all of the consoles. Doesn't matter to me. I wouldn't buy a console in the first place, so I don't care about that. Like if I came in like as a brand new gamer with no history whatsoever, I would have a very hard time choosing between the two consoles because there's like an outside person, you'd go like, we ask you what's the difference between these two, and you'll explain the difference, and they go like, I still don't understand what the difference is between these two consoles. They're like exactly the same, and like it's like 5% difference, and that.
Yes, yes,
Most of
that's the raw truth. They're exactly the same.
The further back you go, the less true that becomes. Like when you were talking
but right now,
Mega Drive and SNES, like there were fundamental differences between those two consoles, but now it's the two same PCs with like different sides, and then the software is a bit different, and then more or less the same. If you play the same game on both, like if you did a blind test with a multi-plat game, people wouldn't be able to tell you're playing on one or the other. I mean, they wouldn't.
That's a fact.
Okay, Gendo.
Anyway,
Gendo, what's the greatest game of all time? No context, just drop the name.
My standard joke answer is Princess Maker, which is actually a game I really do like.
Okay, give us a real answer.
Yeah, I just say that because I want people to look it up and go and try it because it's actually pretty cool.
No one's going to look it up, buddy. Trust me.
Wow.
Not even Cozy.
Look it up.
You such an ass.
I'm just telling you the truth, dude.
So hard to give it the greatest game of all time because my favorite game in the last Automata. That's like really high up.
Okay, so Nier Automata is the best game of all time. Ladies and gents, ladies and gents, welcome to Big. Welcome Stank Ma. We are always happy to have you guys. Too Big starts off saying Loke is being a hater. I'm very happy that I have my own emoji on Twitter now, or on YouTube. It's very nice, very cute. Thanks, guys. Static Mo says, laughing my ass off. Ham looking like he wants to bite the guest. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Loke, calm down. Like, you're scaring people. In the words of that Francis, you're making the maggots cry.
They're saying Ham. No, Cozy. They're saying Ham is the one who wants to bite the guest. Like Ham is imagining putting ketchup. He wants to put ketchup on Gendo and just nibble on him.
You're
okay.
Sick.
I'm saying the guest. The comments are not saying that you say. Ladies and gents, we are late, so let's jump right into it. First one, Ubisoft announces their appearance at Gamescom. And I quote, this is from Game Rant, 2022's Gamescom will follow suit, hoping to be the largest in-person gaming event of the year following E3's cancellation. Ubisoft confirming its appearance at Gamescom will help give fans a reason to watch the event, as with Nintendo and PlayStation both dropping out. Assassin's Creed will not be showing up at Gamescom. There's rumors that there's going to be an event in September for the new Assassin's Creed. Gendo, thoughts on Ubisoft announcing their appearance at Gamescom?
Been in Assassin's Creed since past 4, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Sorry?
Assassin's Creed 4 was the last Assassin's Creed game. They stopped making them after that. So there's a...
Wow. You're starting off trolling. Okay. Okay. We need to pencil Gendo in for the next show if you survive this one.
I don't know,
but Do you think it matters that they're going to Gamescom?
I mean, who cares these days?
Who cares?
People have their own. They have their own directs. They have their own shows and stuff. Doesn't Ubisoft have their own like director fans thing? I don't know. Maybe they do.
They need people to actually watch it.
Oh,
that's why. Maybe that's why they have to go.
There's not a lot of Ubisoft love today.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to me to have these. I mean, these industry conventions were for games industry people in the past, and then the media started covering them, and then regular people started wanting to go. And like E3 and so on, I think the need for them. So yeah, cool. They're going to a game expo. They're going to show stuff there. They could have a video out on Twitter or on their YouTube channel. I mean, I don't know how much of a difference it makes.
Tell us how you really feel, man. Wow.
What do they show? The same game they show all the time? Just different palette swaps of the same game. That's all they have.
Okay,
that's from last year. Nobody will know.
Who's gonna know?
Yo, you guys are vile today. Okay, so Cozy, I'm skipping you. Ham, will you be watching? Are you going to pencil in this Gamescom now that Ubisoft is going?
I mean, I was probably going to check it out either way. So, yeah, I'll be watching.
Are you excited for it?
No.
Damn.
I mean, I'm not.
I'm the only one that cares.
I mean, I'm not excited because I don't know what to really expect yet, to be honest. I mean, I know they threw out some things out there, but like mentioning what's going to be there and then seeing what's there to me is like two totally different things. So like you can say, oh man, this is going to be there. And then they show like a 5-second clip of it. And it's like, oh, or they show like something that's like irrelevant to me personally. And I'm like, nope. So like, for example, like Summer Game Fest, when they showed, like I had general interest in the Saints Row game. But then what they showed at Summer Games Fest, I was like, all right, well, that kind of took my hype away a little bit from for that. Because all they talked about was like character customization and how you can do it on your cell phone and stuff like that. And I'm like,
cool.
That's half the game, right?
Don't care.
Okay. Welcome at Dragonheart, Yo B. Let's go.
What up, brother?
Yeah, okay, let's move on because no one cares about Ubisoft going to Gamescom.
I mean, we just reflect the people.
Yeah, we do.
Do you guys care about watching that kind of stuff live? Because I'm like,
no.
Watch a recap the next morning. Somebody's gonna write the next morning, and I'll just read that. I don't even stay up for the ones I'm excited for. Recap because
I don't watch it live specifically because of what you just brought up, Gendo. Most of these shows, it's either like Japan time or US time. So I have a job, and even if it wasn't during a weekday, I'm not going to stay up until like 2-3 in the morning to watch direct or whatever the hell, the state of play or whatever. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay.
Piss poor gamers.
Whatever, man. So okay, let's go to something that will get the chat and you guys jumping. Persona 3, 4, and 5 coming to the Nintendo Switch, and I quote: Atlas revealed that Persona 5 Royale will come out on Nintendo Switch on October 21st, 2022, as well as confirmed that the remaining 2 Persona titles will eventually follow suit. It had recently been confirmed that Persona 5 will include all its DLC once it comes out on Xbox and PC. It's worth pointing out that the majority of P5's 40 pieces of DLC are simple costume switches and BGM packs, and are therefore not going to make or break the deal no matter what. Gendo, Persona 3, 4, and 5 coming to Nintendo Switch / all consoles. Is this going to cure cancer? Go.
nice if it happened like 2 years ago. Like I held off buying Persona 5 on PlayStation in the hope that there was going to be like a Switch port announced, and it never happened. I picked it up on sale on PS4, and I still haven't finished it, so I guess it doesn't matter. But I think it's a big deal because apart from people really wanting Persona 5 on other platforms, and it came to PC, not the Royal version, the first version of the game came to PC quite a while ago. Correct me if I'm wrong. Pick it up on PC. It's a very good game, and it's a very good JRPG. And my personal is that JRPGs fit handheld play very well because of the nature of how those games are structured. Persona 4 Golden on Vita, really good fit, and I'd rather play that game on a handheld than on a. Again, with the Switch, you got the option to do both. So I think it's going to do really well, and it's a really good. These are really good games for people who like that genre of game. I'm hot and cold on Persona games. I give up after, and I go back to them. Give up, well, but I know that people consider 5. I hear that they're doing them in reverse order, but hey.
Okay. Pam, is Persona 5 a big deal? Like coming to all these consoles, is that a big deal? Persona 5 Royal.
I feel like that question is silly, Loke. Of course, it's a big deal. I mean,
Why?
I'm not even that big of a fan of like turn-based games or whatnot at all. But just the fact that it's going all over the place now instead of being stuck on one console. I mean, Atlas is just looking at everybody like weeping to get the bag, bro.
Paper.
Weeping to get the bag, and they know it. You see Stankma in the chat excited about it, even though he primarily plays on PlayStation. What's the name? It's Me Twan from another show that I do. Is super excited for it to come out for Xbox, and I'm assuming he's excited when he heard it for Nintendo, even though he plays it or played it on PlayStation. And the thing is like gamers in general, to me, like if you're a honest gamer that just enjoys the hobby of video games and you're not out there warring, you're happy to see more people be able to enjoy something that you got to enjoy yourself, and you're just like, man, there's no excuse now, bruh. Here you go, try it out. I want to hear what you got to say about it. So I think it's a big deal. Absolutely, I think it's a big deal. I'm gonna try it. It's coming to Gamepass. I'm not a big fan of it, but if they're gonna give me the opportunity to download it on my console and just try it out to see if I can even get into the turn-based genre anymore, then I'm gonna try it. I know it's a banger for a lot of people, and I definitely want to see where people are coming from it. But where I stand right now, I'm not big into turn-based unless you give me like a South Park game, because those joints are fun. Those joints were fun.
But you bring up
guy, dude.
What's that?
Game Pass is actually the big deal for Persona. That's the big deal, because a lot of people who would never have looked at a Persona game or spent money on it are going to try it.
Right.
Like a lot of people who didn't know that they like that kind of thing. So I'm always people play turn-based games because I'm a big turn-based fan. And, there's a misconception about it not being as fun as real time. Well, it just right game.
Yeah, you're right. Because I just sat here the whole time and said I'm not a big fan of it, but then I bring up South Park. It really just depends on the game and the way it's styled and if it's fun. I personally notice that I think
you just like
when
American
it comes to turn-based, well, for me it's just humor in general. So if you're making me laugh, you're keeping me going. I don't know any other games that are.
Yakuza's not funny, dude. Yakuza is funny as fuck.
I'm sure it is, but just the way that Yakuza is set up is just kind of not exactly for me exactly, and it's just not for me. I'm not saying that it's bad. It sucks. It's trash. Nobody should play it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that.
It's not for you.
That specific one. I tried it for a little while. And the Yakuza games, there's several different game types of those games. So like Zero,
Yes.
you go in there, you do the combat and stuff like that yourself. But like the newest Yakuza that came out, that game is turn-based.
Like a dragon.
Yeah.
Like
That
a
game
dragon.
is extremely turn-based. So I mean, there's different kinds of Yakuza games. I actually didn't even get really to the turn-based parts that much. I played a little bit of Like a Dragon and whatnot, but like I was already turned off by Zero. Zero just wasn't for me.
And Zero is so good. Anyways, before we move on, I just want to say that Gendo's point is spot on. I'd seen Yakuza on PS many times, and for some reason, I also thought it wasn't for me. I sampled Zero, and then I went to buy the whole thing, because we all know if it's on Game Pass, but it's not owned by Microsoft, it will leave eventually. So as soon as I realized, oh, I like this, I was like, bam, 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 bam. I bought all of them, except for Like a Dragon, because I'm not sure I'm gonna like that one. So Persona, I think their strategy, if I was to guess, I think the strategy is we're probably gonna get a Persona 6 soon, and it's gonna be on all consoles. So the idea, in my point of view, is that they're trying to get people to sample these games and enjoy, and then when Persona 6 rolls out, a whole bunch of people are gonna get it day one because they like what they saw in the
Persona
previous
6? So close to Persona
Yes.
5?
one. All right. I'll take the L if it doesn't come up by 2025. If you guys remember. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Sonic Frontiers reveals gameplay during Nintendo.
You cutting out a lot,
Your
bro.
voice, you're cutting out.
What?
What?
Am
You're
I cutting out?
Okay, now you're good. Continue.
All right. Let me restart. Sonic Frontiers reveals new gameplay during Nintendo Direct, and I quote, "As part of the recent Nintendo Direct Mini, another Sonic Frontiers trailer has been shared that officially reveals new gameplay elements. In the trailer, 2 cyberspace levels were shown.
Oh my
One of these
god,
levels
this
made up.
sounds terrible. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's probably this cable. It's probably this
Yeah.
cable.
Now you sound good. Swear.
Okay, I removed the cable. Sorry, I removed the cable. In the trailer, 2 cyberspace
Okay, not the
levels
cable.
were shown.
It's not the cable,
What?
it's you.
What?
Oh my goodness. But anyways, you're talking about Sonic Frontier and the trailer for it that was shown by Nintendo. I thought it looked fantastic. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to rag on it and say, "Oh man, it looks empty, or it looks this way, or it looks that way," but I thought it looked fantastic. I'm really excited for Sonic Frontiers because I really enjoyed like Sonic Adventure 2, even Battle that was on GameCube. That was really fun. Shadow the Hedgehog was, I don't know.
I love Sonic.
Something about the way that Shadow the Hedgehog looked. I know that has nothing to do with Frontiers, but I just thought that was kind of a dope addition to the Sonic franchise. But as for Frontier specifically, I'm excited for that damn game. I think it's gonna be good to me, and I think it's gonna be well received from a lot of people. Although you hear, the small portion of gamers, which is Twitter, talking hella trash about it anytime they see something.
I don't think Sonic. Sorry, Gendo, I'll bring you in after, but I don't think Sonic should be 3D. You guys know how much I hate 2D, but as soon as they put Sonic in 3D, I just cringe. I don't think this is gonna turn out
like Adventures?
well. No, I didn't.
Oh man, you tripping.
I didn't. As usual. Gendo, did you watch the trailer and you think Sonic's gonna be a hit?
didn't watch the full trailer. I did see some gameplay footage, like briefly. Sonic doesn't really come up on my radar. It's not a franchise I'm very interested in. But the comments about empty, I mean, this is a more open world title, isn't it? That's the idea, is to have like big open world 3D spaces, and also the point of a Sonic game is to go fast. So the same sort of rules as a racing game applies. There's no point in putting a bunch of stuff on the sides of the track. You can't see it. You're doing like 200 miles an hour. There's no point. So
thank you.
That sort of smacks like of the people that freeze frame details that have got nothing to do with that design or how you're supposed to play it. People pausing a pointing out that the stuntman looks fake, and they're like, yeah, but the people who made the video assumed that you weren't going to freeze frame it. That's the whole idea. So yeah, but seems like it would fit, right? Because he's a character that covers, and so you would have to shrink the open world down and stuff be close enough to each other. You'd have to have large empty fields and things for him to run. We'll see how it turns out. The proof is in the pudding. The gameplay is what matters. And it doesn't have a big open space if it takes you 3 seconds to traverse it. So who cares?
All right. Cozy. Game of the year when it comes out?
Excited. Depends on what else catches my attention, but it looks solid. I'm like one of those people that's like, Sonic is one of the handful of things where you can always get me to buy in, and then most of the time in the last like decade it's been regret. But I have high hope.
Yeah,
right. You should start supporting Man United.
I don't think it's no game of the year, Logan. I feel like every time you bring up a game, you got to throw in the phrase "game of the year" or whatever.
That's because he's a fake gamer. He doesn't know what it takes to be game of the year. He's a fake gamer.
Oh my God.
The only thing he plays is Fortnite on his phone.
Moving on. Moving the hell on.
Yeah.
Move. Oh man. Okay, moving on. This one's gonna be a long one. So if anyone wants to go out for a pee break, this is it. Cyberpunk 2077 QA studio responds to lying allegations. And I quote, "A recent video report / rumor has come out." So these guys at Game Rant didn't specify who did the video thing. It was Upper Echelon Gamers, one of the best channels on YouTube, period. Anyone that likes video games and what happens behind the curtain, follow Upper Echelon Gamers. This guy is freaking on point, and he's crazy because now he's actually going to go up against the legal team of Quantic Lab. Anyway, let me continue. A recent video report / rumor by Upper Echelon Games has come out suggesting that QA testing company Quantic Lab, which worked on the QA side with Cyberpunk 2077, lied about the condition of the game. The big claims came down to Quantic Lab having a smaller team than the contract demanded, lying about senior staff using juniors with less than 6 months experience, and following a quantity, not quality quota, where tons of pointless bugs were reported instead of the much more needed ones. Now, Quantic Lab CEO Stefan, I'm going to butcher this, Sekarescu has issued a statement on these allegations. The entire statement basically is them refuting it and saying it was wrong. Upper Echelon Gamers, as I had said before, has already been contacted by the lawyers of Quantic Lab, and he says he's going to fight it. He's not going to stop, and yeah, it's catching fire. The biggest game of 2020-21 is still in the headlines. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's just to comment on something. I don't know the facts. You know he's in something head, but we don't know the facts. What we do know is the game that we got had major QA problems, and if they were the people who were responsible for that QA, then something must have gone wrong. That they weren't given enough resources, enough time, didn't have enough people, whatever the case may be. But whether they lied to their client, CDPR, who can say? So if they're going to go to court, then we'll have to wait for what they say in court. Do you find it difficult? CDPR was so reliant on. I don't know if this means that they have no in-house QA.
That's the big concern.
This it seems very strange because CD Projekt is not cash. They're a big publisher and a big developer now. They've got GOG. They do good business on GOG side, but all the revenue from me buying multiple copies of The Witcher 3. So it's going on here. Why they would outsource, and it's not as if dealt with doing QA on open world games before. The Witcher 3 is massive. I sizes are, but Cyberpunk doesn't feel like it has as many systems and things and that can go wrong as The Witcher did. It's like a more constrained game, but that could be just my perception, you know. Yeah, I don't want to go and make comments on this on hearsay from two parties, but it is so it's such a weird story because it's so many different things that have to go wrong for it to be. Sounds like it shouldn't be possible, especially not with something this high profile. But I do want to hear what they have to say. I mean, people. It does happen that people lie when they tender, right? You put out and you say, I'm looking for a subcontractor to do something, and
yeah, you think that only happens in Africa?
Yeah, no, the difference is here. It's the normal way to do business. You assume the guy is lying, and you buy everything by 50%. But yeah, obviously it happens everywhere. The percentage is just smaller.
All right. Oh God, cyber poop. Okay, Cozy, go ahead.
I mean,
Go.
given large studios are gonna have problems. They all have allegations. It's just a matter of how well they sweep them under the rug and how well they clean up those allegations. So it's like whatever. It's like, yeah, that's par for the course. What do you expect? All they make is trash anyway.
Okay.
I said it.
Cyberpunk is trash?
Trash.
Wow. And then they say I'm the king of shit takes on this show. Wow. Ham, Cyberpunk versus Quantic Lab versus Upper Echelon Games. Go.
Oh man, I mean, I'm more or less just waiting to hear more about this as it kind of, comes to its conclusion. But everybody and their mama knew Cyberpunk had issues, and just the amount of delays that went behind it, and then that ugly launch that happened. I mean, who would be surprised to hear that they just weren't quite doing everything the way they were supposed to do it? And I really agree with what Cozy said. It really depends on how well you are at sweeping that stuff under the rug and not letting it be shown, and putting out quality before people get to that point of getting angry. You know what I mean? Like, if you fix it quick enough, get it out there and whatnot to the point where people can't really complain about it, it'll get swept right under the rug. But if you take as long as they did to figure out how to fix that game and make it, comfortable across all platforms, which I personally thought it should have just been a next gen game. They shouldn't have even put it on
Yeah.
the previous consoles at all, or
Yeah.
else they wouldn't even be in this situation right now if they didn't put if they decided to skip the PS4 and Xbox One. I mean, look at all these other companies that are like, yo, bro, we don't want to go down that road, like Cyberpunk.
And
dude.
then it could have just been a launch game for those, and that would have solved. And then they didn't have the extra time to put on that polish, and they could have just.
I just personally find it flabbergasting that we all know, and these publishers know, these developers know, that the last generation of consoles came out underpowered. Everybody knew that from the jump. So when they started, when they started, talking about Cyberpunk, and they showed us the like trailer that ended up just not being real, right? They showed us all that stuff, and we're sitting there looking at that VCR version of the Xbox, saying, how the hell are you going to get that thing to look that good on that console? Like, like, to be real. And then it comes out the way that it comes out the way that it is. I mean, to me, it's like, dude, you shot yourself in the foot. You could have totally backtracked if you wanted to and said, yo, and they could have pulled a Halo or something like that. It's not like this is a small company. They're a big company. So so they could have, went on ahead and said, we don't like where we're at right now, but I'm sure, those people investing and whatnot were like, yo, y'all better put something fucking out. You know what I'm saying? So I get it on that note, but this is exactly what happens when you shove something out. Halo is exactly what happens when you shove something out. It will be good in some areas. People will still have a good time.
Integrity.
Yeah, people will still have a good time in some way or another, but you're leaving a ton of gaps in a ton of areas where people can get really angry and voice their opinions, especially when you have a whole generation of consoles that are having issues. And it's not just, it'd be different if it was like, oh, the Xbox is perfectly fine or the PlayStation's perfectly fine, but the other console is rough or something like that. Then you could be like, well, that console just isn't good enough quite to run it. But when you have the entire last generation, both consoles having the exact same issues, and then you have a platform like Sony saying, yo, get this game out of here. Like, you put yourself in that situation, and now you're kind of eating the crow from it.
Again,
right now.
let's look at the irony. Let's look at the irony of Sony kicking Cyberpunk off their platform, but then they didn't kick off what was it, Adventure of Black Tiger or something like that.
Yeah, I think it depends on how much, because a lot of people wanted refunds for.
Well,
it was about the refunds.
They should have just said our problem is with the refunds. They said the problem was with the quality, which was true.
I mean, well, yeah. Obviously they're gonna make an excuse because of their no refund policy.
That's what Sony's gonna say, though. Right? They're gonna because Sony's whole thing is quality. So they're not gonna sit there and say when they get mad at a game for being like return. They gotta give people their money back. They're not gonna sit there and say damn you guys, we have to give you your money back. This sucks, and this is why we're taking it off. They're not going to say that. They're going to make it look like in which they were correct when they said it. I can't even say that they're lying when they say the quality of that game is an issue. Well, keep in mind, this game, the game that you brought up isn't even in the same realm as the Cyberpunk. Like you're talking about something much smaller versus something that has been talked about throughout an entire generation. Like Cyberpunk had the hype.
It was terrible.
It was the hype man of an entire generation, and it flat out didn't even come until the next generation.
Here's the thing about this whole situation. Thing is, assuming that the stuff they're saying about the outsourced QA guys being true, that CD Projekt is a victim. They trusted a subcontractor to do something. The subcontractor was dishonest, and did the end result of the game. But is that Cyberpunk's problems weren't bug related. If you played it on, even if you played the PS4, Xbox One version, or on a Series X or S, or on PC with a day one patch, it was no rougher bug wise open world games when they release something like Skyrim or Fallout 4 or whatever the case may be. The problem was, and I mean, I put 250 hours into Cyberpunk across from launch on PS5 and PC on 3 different PCs. I went through 3 PCs since the game launched.
Oof.
And
That's dedication for you, man.
I'll be honest, it's one of my favorite games that I've played in the last couple of years. I really, really enjoy that game. And I'm fully willing to admit that a lot of stuff I enjoy are not good things, but I like them. I enjoy them, so I don't care. It's like watching a crappy movie that I love, but nobody else likes. So there's a lot in Cyberpunk.
Twilight.
Shut your ass up, man.
Good for you. If you
No, it ain't good for him. You just shut up.
Go ahead, Gendo. Ignore this guy.
That's personal preference, right? Cyberpunk's my kind of game, not just from the RPG side of the way it works, but the specific theme and it's got a lot going for it for me, and I enjoyed it. But the point is, so I played it on lots of different platforms. I didn't have a PS4 anymore at that point when the game came out, so I never played it on a PS4, but I've obviously seen all of the, the frame rate analysis and the way the game runs and so on. So fundamentally, if you had an Xbox One or a PS4, whether it was the Pro model or the base model, because the CPUs are very similar, this was never a GPU issue, those games were unplayable. Like, they were worse to play than like PS3, Xbox 360 games that were a bit above 20 frames a second, right? So the product was broken. The customer who bought it could not enjoy it. And that's the fact of the matter. If they, like you said, I agree with you 100%, if they just skip those consoles, the reason they wouldn't skip those consoles is just money. You have
It
$40 million.
should have.
In robbery.
120 million, 120 million PS4s, and about 2/3 or half that on the Xbox One side. That's an install base, and so decision. I don't think the shareholder corporate money guy would ever do that. The developer guys might have said, "Look, we cannot release it. We shouldn't release this game on a console with Jaguar CPUs from 2013. It cannot handle this open world game. It's too complex for it." And they go, and those idiots play 20 FPS games all the time. They won't notice because that's where the money is. Like 5 million PlayStation 5 consoles maybe sold in the first month or two after Cyberpunk came out. So obviously, if you want to sell copies of the game, you're going to want to put it on PS4 and Xbox One. Problem just is that those consoles had no chance whatsoever. And I mean, I've seen all the patching and all the optimization and all that stuff, and it still looks like you wouldn't, because it's just not a good experience.
Yeah,
it's not what they advertise at all. And to me, that's the biggest. To me, that's the biggest perpetrator right there. Is like, you tell everybody, yo, this is what it looks like. I mean, it's different to have a little bit of a downgrade, but that looked like a generational downgrade. Like, it looked awful on the previous generation consoles. And that's what, and like I said, I think that's the biggest perpetrator, because they advertised it to look like that on those consoles the entire time. And then you get it even on PS5 and Xbox Series X. It doesn't even look exactly like that on those consoles. You know what I mean? It doesn't even look as smooth
Yeah.
as their presentation of it before. So, yeah, they did the
Hey,
last
company-
generation bad, bruh.
The QA company would not have been responsible for evaluating the performance of the game. They're doing bug. So I think really my point is that the game did badly because it was unplayable, and it wasn't unplayable with bugs. And whether really this has nothing to do with why Cyberpunk was such a disaster, because it wasn't bugs, it was performance.
Yeah.
Some of the bugs caused performance, but it's been 2 years and it's still the same. So
All right. Let's move on from the tire fire that is Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, the
Another
dumpster
tire
fire. The garbage juice fire. You can hear the garbage juice is boiling.
Okay, so let's go to another tire fire. This one is the Monkey Island creator shuts down his blog after personal attacks. Guys, what the hell? Like, I'm not even gonna read out these attacks because I read them, and it was
You can't read them out in the you can't read them out in the in the in the way that your
In the
mic
what?
is botting right now as it is. You couldn't read it out if you wanted to.
Oh,
Oh my God. Okay, man. Whatever. You know what's going on my side, but you still be trolling. Whatever.
I'm always gonna be trolling you.
Gendo, would you chill? Gendo, I'm sure you read the comments and you know like why he shut down. This is a two-part question. One, do you think he should have shut it down? And two, what do you think about the comments? Go.
So I mean, I even chatted a bit with Guy, voice actor, on Twitter about this. I mean, first of all, there's nothing wrong with criticizing something, right? You can criticize stuff. It's just your opinion. That's fine. But I mean, Ron Gilbert is. This is I don't know. Ron Gilbert did not deserve. Nobody deserves. But of all people, Ron Gilbert is like video game developer royalty. It's this. I don't know. I get riled up a little bit about this because it's fine. I mean, like, let me say, I'm not a big fan of the art style I've seen so far, the character art style in particular. I get over it and play the game, and you know, because I'm a fan of the franchise, but not my game. This weird ownership that things feel over those things is. It's not your game. It's not your franchise.
you didn't work on it.
Either you can say you don't like it, but if you don't play the game, you are not a customer, and there's no reason for them to care about what you have to say. If the game sells, they will take a lesson from that. That the people that they were marketing the game towards didn't like it, because you can't do the way, you know, that these things shake out is people don't stuff they want to say. It's like you see lots of negative reviews of a thing, if reviews, and then a handful of positive things, because it either has to be very extraordinary positive experience for somebody to on the internet and write a comment about it instead of just being happy in private. But it's hard for somebody to get on the internet and write something negative. So there's an imbalance between what you see. So if you're making a game, you shouldn't get sentiment from people who are going to buy your game from the small people who are visible because they're negative and they're loud, right? Never okay to say stuff like that about anybody. I'm just because it's Ron Gilbert. She's because you know, those people really don't deserve it. Their pedigree is impeccable when it comes to game development. They decisions like this because they're stupid or something. They have a reason for it. They have a reason. I don't understand what it is. I'm not going to share anything anymore, right? And he's not going to share anything anymore because people can't be polite. People have to provide criticism that's irrelevant and not constructive. So
Okay.
I don't really know what to
So
say
that's an
about it.
L for you? It's a horrible thing.
You
Was
know?
he justified in shutting down the blog though?
No, I think he was, because he doesn't owe anybody anything. He's trying to sell it. He's not desperate. So if he wants to keep his game under wraps, most developers don't. Like, we live when developers can just chat to you, and it's happened before. You know, I can shoot a tweet to Cliff Blazinski, right? Who he amazing game that some people might know. It's called Jazz Jackrabbit. What he did after that, but that's an amazing game.
Not Gears of War? What?
No, Jazz Jackrabbit. It's a better platformer than Mario or Sonic. Amazing game.
So first the princess game, now Jazz, whatever the hell.
Jazz Jackrabbit. How can you not know Jazz Jackrabbit, man? Iconic. Great music, fantastic
Okay.
See,
platform.
the weird
On
games they
that
play in
note-
the rest of the world, the non-cool part
On
of the
that
world.
on that note, Ham, Return to Monkey Island creator shuts down blog after personal attacks. Go.
Good. People are stupid nowadays, like really stupid. Like, I mean, I'm sure you're gonna be talking about it later, but the whole Cory Barlog thing.
Alabama stupid.
I mean,
Yes.
like to me, like Neanderthal stupid, like living
Damn.
under a rock stupid, and I mean, like the people that like you can tell when somebody's being constructive and, you know, criticizing something, and when somebody is just speaking to speak and just to have people hear whatever garbage rolls out of their mouth. To me, it's just like the nature of today. I mean, you look at today's society, and you can say it's America, but I think it's really like becoming worldwide, where you're starting to see just
No, stupid is reserved for America only.
Sure, but I just heard you guys talking about your own nation and their government, right? So I don't want to hear that, Lo.
Oh God.
I don't want to hear that. It's worldwide, because I mean, you can't sit here and tell me that every negative comment only has came from America. Maybe majority of it, because Americans are very loud. Yes, we are. We're very loud. We're very opinionated. But
You're the only ones with megabytes.
whatever. Whatever. But anyways, what I'm saying, the bottom line of what I'm saying is, it's just like, it really sucks that we have a platform that we can, you know, talk to each other and actually have like a decent discussion, and a few people ruin it for a ton. A few people will ruin that for a ton. So where I could be possibly, you know, bumping elbows with some really cool people in the industry, instead they're scared to meet new people because of, you know, the consistency that is negativity in the gaming space. So I don't know, like I'm proud of them for actually standing up and being like, you know what, enough is enough. I'm done with this.
I'm going home.
Exactly. He pulled out. He pulled out the
Is
card,
that
man.
standing
Screw you
up,
guys. I'm going. Yes, absolutely.
Is
that's
that standing up though?
To me, it is, because you either do that or you put yourself further and further and further into a harder place. You do not want to get stuck arguing with these people that are going to literally just say whatever to make you feel down, or to make you feel like you're not making any progress. No matter how, I mean, it's just like that term. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink it. It's the exact interpretation of
See the state of how gamers behave?
When Ham starts coming up with his proverbs, that means
we got people sending
getting
dick
into
pics for God of
soliloquy.
War release dates, dude. You can't talk to these people.
All
you can't
right.
talk to these people.
All
These
right.
people are not reasonable.
Alright.
They're not normal. They're not well adjusted.
Okay,
To
Gendo,
me, but
X-Tank
before
was
we move
asking
on,
you what's the name of the game?
before we move on real quick, I just want to
All
say,
right.
like, my whole thing, and it has little to do with gaming. Communication in general is dying. Communication is dying. And I don't mean like forms of communication, just the way that people interpret communication is just completely dying.
Nobody can have a serious conversation.
I mean,
This
I mean, it's harder.
this
It's
sounds like
hard
a
for people to
conversation to
talk.
have in a space, guys.
Sure, Loke, whatever. But what I'm
Let's
saying
do
is,
that tomorrow. Ham, we get it. We get it.
I don't know why you're
Settle
so
down.
eager to shut me down. I don't know why you're. I mean,
Dude,
did you say
we're
something
getting
silly on Twitter
philosophical
that we need to
now.
talk about? Did you say something silly? Am I
Oh
offending
God.
you? Am I offending you,
Oh
Loke?
God.
Because you sounding suspect right now.
Gendo,
Like, don't be
Stankmore
talking
is
about my
asking
brothers.
you about Stankmore is asking you about the game you're talking about, Jazz something. He said, "Wait, Jazz what? It's what's the name of the game? Jazz Rabbit?
Jackrabbit.
Jazz the Jackrabbit?
It's just Jazz Jackrabbit.
All right.
He doesn't have the
Jazz.
same middle. He doesn't have the same middle name as Sonic. It's just Jazz Jackrabbit, not Sonic the Hedgehog.
Right.
Hey, I'm kind of curious. Gando, do you have an option on your mic for noise canceling, or is it automatic?
Turn it off.
It didn't make
Y'all?
any difference.
Okay.
Well, the noise cancellation's off now, so.
I'm feeling hungry.
Okay.
Oh Lord.
Okay,
Oh
Cozy.
Lord.
What
What are
It's
we
is
doing
safe.
here?
what the what
It
is
is.
that?
Watermelon potato salad.
It
All
doesn't
right.
look terrible,
All right.
but I can only imagine what it
Yeah,
smells
it
like.
doesn't.
Sorry,
It smells
watermelon
delicious.
and potatoes.
What about your meal is pickled?
Both the watermelon and the potatoes.
Then why didn't you tell everybody? Like I said, I can only imagine what it smells like.
What it
How y'all
smells
feel
like.
about eating like putting watermelon? Like imagine putting watermelon up to your mouth and smelling a pickle.
Smells vinegary.
Okay. Let's quickly go to the game prediction section. We've spoken about Sony's penis
Good, you
receptions
guys.
and all that.
Sony's
Okay,
penis?
so F122 coming out on July 1st for PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series consoles. Gendo, what we do in this section is you have to give us a Metacritic prediction, the highest Metacritic score you think this game's going to get on all these platforms. Would you like to guess?
Ooh.
Sorry?
I mean, for F122, is that the game?
Yes, that's the
22.
game. Yes.
Is it coming to PS5? It should, right?
Is it coming to what?
PlayStation 5.
Yeah, it's coming to all platforms.
Everything. Okay. Well, if it's got
That just got 5 more
PS
points, right? That just got 5 more points, right? He's like, he had to double check. He's about to give it that discount double check.
You need to settle down. You need to settle down.
Yeah, I bought a racing wheel setup for my PlayStation 5, so that's where I would prefer to play it, or PC. I'm wondering, because they've said vaguely about they have to add PlayStation VR2 support for that game, and I was thinking that, well, if it does have VR support, it might score, but I don't think without it should be the same. It's probably going to get a solid 5 across the board.
95?
85?
probably somewhere between 80 and 85. I mean, it's a very niche game. So the people who buy F1 2022, that's the game they buy, right? So it's probably going to be the same as F1 2021, just with, I don't know if upgrades. Is this the first next gen 2020 F1 game?
It's not next gen only. It's coming out on previous gens as well.
Asking if this is the first F1 game to have a next gen version, because I haven't been keeping track.
Oh
of that.
yes, it is. It is. Actually, no. 21 had 21 had the Xbox and PS5.
It'll probably get 2021 got, unless it's something's broken.
Okay, so 85 for Gendo. Cozy, what score is F1 2022 getting?
You're muted, Cozy.
Whatever the last one scored. Obviously. Isn't it just like they make the same game over and over again?
Well, look, what did the last one score?
Way to go out on the limb. I'm not gonna help you guys out like that.
All right.
I'm just gonna put here whatever 21 got. That's Cozy's guess. Ham, what's yours?
All right. I want to give this like an 82, but what don't you really like this game, Loke?
It's nice. It's nice. It's a nice game.
He likes it, but he's
Like,
just afraid to admit that he likes it.
No, I like it,
Arby
but I'm
Horse
not like.
Adventure Mystery Ride. It's his favorite game.
Oh goodness.
And
Yes,
that's the
I
last
do
one
like
I
it,
played,
Ham.
and it was good.
Well, okay. Then I'm gonna bump it down to an 80.
Oh.
Damn.
I mean,
because you like
if
it.
Love likes it, it has to be like
That is
65.
toxic.
Yeah, that's a couple points
Cozy,
down just because Loke
sit
likes
your
it.
ass down.
You know, you're only into
Cozy,
those
you sit your ass
65
down
range
right now.
rated games. 65 or less.
All right.
Yep, he
Okay,
100% in
okay.
Crossfire, y'all. That's the kind of guy he is.
Okay. Mr. Inferno Game says nice dress, Cozy.
It's not a dress.
Stankmore says Jazz Jackrabbit doesn't look too bad. I think he's gonna give it a go. Give us your review next week, Stankmore. We will be anxiously anticipating it. Right.
Buy it on
Next
Good Old
game.
Games.
Okay. Do you get commissions for this game? Jeez, man, you capping for this
Freaking
game
wish.
hard.
Maybe he just likes the game. And not
Right.
enough people like it.
Moving on, we've got Klonoa Fantasy Reverie series coming to Nintendo Switch, the PS platforms, and the Xbox platforms on July 8th. Gendo, what's your guess on this one?
Are we talking Metacritic scores?
Yes. The whole thing is Metacritic.
Yeah, no, cool. We're still there. So no, probably 85 again.
Oh, okay. Mr. Positivity. Cozy.
Boring answer, but yeah.
Yeah. Klonoa Fantasy Reverie series. Cozy, what's your score prediction?
Go with 79.
79. Mr. Hamathy Solo.
Oh man, 78.
78. Next up we have, this is such a weird name, Arcade Geddon. Coming out on Xbox One, Xbox Series consoles, and only PS4. No PS5 version. Gendo.
Out.
Gendo, what's your score prediction for Arcade Geddon?
Even know what that is. I mean, roll 65.
I thought it was already out
65. No, it's coming out July 8th.
Never heard.
Cozy, Arcade Geddon.
I'm going to go with
Don't you Google it.
84.
84.
I could have sworn it was already out.
Am-
I could have sworn this game was being advertised for PlayStation
No.
5.
Oh, it's not coming out on PlayStation 5.
I'll
Ham,
play on PlayStation
Arcade.
5.
What?
75.
I just won't be.
Wait,
75.
you're getting cut off. What were you
Right.
saying?
No, y'all were cutting me off. No,
Right.
no, continue.
Okay.
Continue.
Notable tweets. Oh my goodness. Let's try and keep this short, guys. It's probably not going to happen, but let's try. At Jojo from Jers says, maybe someday women in America will have as many rights as guns do.
Why are you
At
talking about
Sage At Sage Dynamics replied, yeah, I hate that my wife can't come on a plane with me or into the post office or to Taylor Swift concert, or in most states would need a special permit before playing hide and seek. If you don't have a comment, just say no comment. Ham,
No comment.
Cozy,
So no comment.
Gendo.
I don't have it. It's got nothing to do with video games.
I'm on fire. Next we have
Fail.
is teabagging sexual assault / harassment?
Now we're talking.
No, we're not. Go, Ham.
Oh,
If you don't have a
God.
comment, say you don't have a comment.
I
Ham.
got a
Go.
comment, motherfucker. I got a comment.
I
So-
do be fucking mothers though.
All right, I tell you, bro. Like, nothing says I suck like getting offended like that over like man. He or she or whoever it was that you know
It was a she. You know it was a she. You
Whatever.
know it was a she. Don't try and be
I-
neutral, bruv. You know everybody
I-
saw that screenshot. Everyone saw it.
Nothing says.
Key my ass.
I'm just saying, nothing says. Oh, well, we're not gonna sit out here and act like dudes don't be getting butt hurt too. So check your facts, man. You already know dudes be getting butt
Everyone
hurt too.
saw that screenshot, Ham. Everyone saw that screenshot. Just for you trying to be PC, we skipping your ass. Cozy,
No, you
is
ain't.
teabagging
No, you
sexual
ain't.
harassment or assault?
Pause, Cozy. I'm gonna go ahead and finish what I was saying. Because Loco over here just being disrespectful. He trying to skip me on every goddamn topic.
You're trying to get political. Ain't nobody trying to be political up in here.
Loco, coming from somebody
Everyone
that
saw
brought
that
a political
screenshot.
topic. Coming from someone that brought a political
Everyone saw
topic.
that screenshot. Everyone saw that screenshot, bruv. Come on.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Be real.
Anyways. All right. Well,
Just be real.
Then let me talk, sucker. But anyways.
All right, go.
As I was saying, nothing says that you're terrible at a game than getting offended when somebody does. Because there's been plenty of games where there's been like teabagging or something that, you know, gets you extra irritated. Remember back in the day when you played like Call of Duty and you had like right after you killed somebody, you could say something real quick and they'd hear it? Do you remember that from like Call of Duty, like Modern Warfare 2 and 3?
That
and
wasn't
stuff like
fun.
that? I thought it was hilarious because like
That wasn't fun for me.
I thought it was absolutely hilarious because you could just randomly yell something at somebody like, "Oh, sit down, bitch," or something like that. Like I thought it was personally funny. Of course, you know, I mean, it didn't exactly belong there, but something like teabagging, I mean, what are you going to do? Take out the mechanics of the game because somebody's offended? I think that's just ridiculous. Like, get over it. If you don't like it, don't play that game. Move on.
Valorant will ban players that do that at tournaments. Just a quick FYI.
That's a tournament, though. That has set rules.
Tournaments have a code of conduct, sort of like behavioral conduct, but general teabagging is just the thing that happens. In fact, I played a game, and my entire goal was to teabag someone in Halo multiplayer, was to teabag someone with the cat ears on. And then
my goodness.
I did it. I finally did it, because I'm not even that good. But I finally teabagged someone, and then they spent the rest of the game harassing me. Like, not really harassing me, but basically, they would just kill me, like, immediately. Like they would like run up it through the entire team and just kill me immediately.
He just wanted cozy.
But that was worth it. But that was worth it, you know?
So we now
Teabagging is
have
life.
video evidence that women teabag.
Yeah, exactly,
At
Love.
Mr.
While you're trying to call
Inferno,
me political, we got a
at
panel
Mr.
member
Inferno
over
Game,
here.
at Mr. Inferno Game says I am a victim. I need to press charges for all those years on COD and Halo. Good luck, buddy. Good luck. Gendo,
Class action
is
lawsuit.
teabagging
He's gonna arrest her.
Class action. Oh man. Okay. Mr. Inferno says arrest Cozy. I think we should do that. Gendo, is teabagging harassment and sexual assault?
I want to call dibs on general teabagging as a name to use in a shooter. That's awesome. Like general teabag, private bat games.
You getting
Is that
teabagged by
okay?
your cat?
Oh God.
Have the right She doesn't have the right equipment for it.
Oh.
Ooh, he said she.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Next one is from @dark_Temis says, okay, so the new Sony in-zone gaming headsets are cool and all, but just feel like a cash grab to me. Gendo, when I saw these in-zone gaming headsets, I was like, this is something Gendo would get. Please tell us how you feel about the in-zone merch.
Seen the product. What makes them so special? Why are people calling them a cash grab?
Sony made them.
Inflated? Okay, you're talking about it's like there's a wired one, and then it's like a pro version of the Pulse 3D, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then there's the monitor. That's almost $1,000 right now.
Yeah, there's two different
It's
ones of
as
those.
a-
as
Oh,
well.
1440.
Yeah, there's no
Alright,
1440
go
on
ahead.
them either. They just hate 1440 at PlayStation.
I'm like, why am I paying that much for no 1440 on a monitor? What do it look like?
All right, so let's talk to the only person that will actually buy this. Gendo, give us your thoughts.
Wouldn't buy it. It depends on what it's offering. Right? I mean, the Pulse 3D is a really cheap set of headphones, but they are pretty good. They put the money into the actual like electronics and the audio experience, and it's very comfortable. But it does feel cheap. It does feel quality. So I don't know how long. If you're a person that plays like 8 hours a day and you're always taking it off and twisting it and so on, I can imagine that you'll internal wires or wear out the headband. So that's almost like, I don't want to say it's disposable, but it costs the same as a controller, and I think it probably has a similar lifespan. If my
Well,
3Ds break, then maybe I would consider getting something like that, or just get a Pulse 3D again, because I know you can use the Pulse 3Ds with anything, but if I'm going to like a branded console only set of headphones, I really don't want to spend too much money on it. I probably want to.
well, that's the interesting thing about these headphones. From what I read from the official press release, these headphones are universal, so you can use them not only on the PS5, you can use them on the PC and the Xbox.
For the Pulse
work
3D
on
as
Xbox as well.
strictly speaking, because there's just
Can you
Bluetooth.
connect the Pulse 3D to the Xbox?
If you're using a wired connection, then yeah, you can anything with the headphone jack.
No,
but
talking about Bluetooth.
No.
No, not with the Xbox. Xbox doesn't use Bluetooth.
No.
Xbox.
So you
It's
can't connect
wireless. It uses a wireless connection.
If you plug it into
Alright.
the controller, you'll still get the full use of the headset with the mic and everything, because any tip ring sleeve
Jack.
headset will work.
in her.
3Ds are regular Bluetooth as well for like PC or Nintendo or Switch or whatever. But Bluetooth is always kind of terrible for games. There's always like perceptible delay between the sound, and it's better to use the proprietary stuff. So if I don't see how these new headphones would work with Xbox's wireless, because they're not going to the keys to their wireless system.
Oh, that's what he said, and I was like, "What the hell?"
I'll have to look into that, because
Yeah.
I don't. The Xbox wireless standard is proprietary. They don't use they controllers also have Bluetooth in them, but Xbox wireless dongle for PC, if you want to have the audio functionality, have like multiple, like 8 controllers and everything, you still have to buy a separate dongle. And even the Bluetooth connection on some computers, there's delay, like there's input delay with the button. So it's complicated. If it's Bluetooth, probably stay away. And the companies don't allow each other to use their proprietary wireless standards. So
Okay, so Bluetooth bad. Bluetooth
It's not
bad.
as good as
Okay.
wireless.
So no one is buying it. No one is buying these in-zone headphones or the monitors. No.
Why would I?
Ham,
I have
Cozy?
one for my computer.
Okay. Ham, nothing. Nothing.
So these headsets, to me, I mean, of course they're a cash grab in a sense. Like, you want people on your ecosystem using your products when doing it. So like the monitor thing, they're pretty nice. I do kind of agree with Cozy on like, why isn't there 1440 yet? I thought they were working on that, and here we are with brand new monitors that don't even have it.
Too much for a monitor without 1440.
It's something else, but at the same time, I mean, it's quality stuff. I'm not gonna sit here and act like Sony puts out garbage. They don't. They're gonna put out a nice quality product, and if you want to spend that kind of money, you can. To me, Sony is usually overpriced on a lot of their stuff, but I never regret buying it after I have it. So like, I mean, it is what it is. If you're really big on Sony products, then this is going to be great for you. But if you're just like somebody that doesn't really care about, every piece of your system matching, like some people think that, and I listened to this on like one of Kid Smooth's podcasts, and I believe it was Dope as Jay said it. He's like, some people still believe like you need to have like an AMD processor to match the GPU for it to work correctly. People have that, trained set of mind to think, these like are like Legos and they have to piece together like this, when it's not exactly the case. So I feel like those people that are really big in the Sony, or those people that just don't read up enough on the stuff, will go out and buy it and be happy with it. And I don't see anything wrong with that. But for me personally, there is so many options that I don't see myself needing to jump for that thing specifically. And I also don't really like the style of the I really also don't like the style of the headsets either, because they have the mic part right here. The mic part is on the exterior of the headset, so it's like coming out over here and it twists down, and I don't like that at all for some reason. I just don't. I just feel like it leaves your mic to get like hit by something if you put it down, or it's just more easy to break, in my opinion. But I'm also kind of touchy about my headsets and whatnot. Not to say that I have all these top of the line stuff. I just know what I like, and that isn't something that I am particularly loving.
Okay, no one is buying the Sony in-zone gaming headsets or monitor.
Well, definitely. Just
Roger that.
For me, it's also kind of the price on some of this stuff. I can get I can get a lot of the same features from other places for a lot cheaper. So like I said, Sony likes to, I mean, you look at some of their TVs that they have, they get their monitor, or they did, I'm not sure if they still do, but they previously got their monitors from LG, but somehow their TVs were always more expensive than LG. And everybody knows LG had that TV. You know what I'm saying? So It's just, I mean, do you love Sony that much to do it, or are you willing to, you know, shop around and really look at specifications of all these different type of items and
Watch
then
it.
balance it?
Watch it all sell out in 30 minutes.
Oh, it probably will.
Here we are, ladies and
Just-
gents. We're at the
But
fin.
hang on a second.
Go ahead, Gendo.
Hang on a second. It's easy to forget that like Sony isn't PlayStation. Like PlayStation, what they do, and ultimately still one of the best audio companies in the world, and they make some of the best headphones.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
if you buy one of their $500 or $600 noise canceling wireless headphones, you own the best examples of you know, in that class. The reason the Pulse 3D is so good is because they can they can afford to like break even. If it's a PlayStation accessory, only make a little bit of profit. They have like what 50 years or something of experience making. These are the people who made the freaking Walkman, for goodness sake. So they know how to make audio gear. If anything else, I mean, Sony, they have like unparalleled. Very, very few companies audio the way they do and who understand things like headphones and speakers and all that kind of stuff. So I would never say that buying a Sony designed pair of headphones would be a bad move for anybody. The extra price goes into stuff that is maybe less but better for the fundamentals, especially if you care about the audio itself. These headphones are, but I still think that the Pulse 3Ds are like a steal for the amount of money that they're charging for them, considering how they sound. Like if I play Gran Turismo with those things on, I have no complaints about the detail in the audio or the quality of the audio, the immersion.
Gran Turismo,
yeah.
Game of the Year.
Stop.
Well, again, a game I really like, a game I really love. So
I like
the
Gran
game that's
Turismo as well. I'm just saying Loeb needs to stop with all this Game of the Year every time somebody mentions something.
It's the best racer. It's the best racer so far. Like Forza Horizon is nothing. Forza Motorsport will also be nothing. I mean, Gran Turismo for the win.
You're such
Which one? I don't even like racing games, and I'll just tell you, I am buying the Hot Wheels expansion.
Already bought the Hot Wheels expansion.
How'd you already?
I mean,
how did you buy that?
Season pass when the game came out, so it's included in the season pass.
Oh, okay. So you're just like me. You got that that early preview for it thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yep. So yeah, I guess I got it too.
Prepaid for it. But you know, on that topic, and I've said this on Twitter.
You don't buy games on Xbox. What are you guys talking about?
Well, I didn't buy Forza. I only bought the expansion pack because of Gamepass. So
technically I'm right.
And I bought the Xbox Series A specifically so I wouldn't have to buy games. Like that's like buying a Netflix box. That's why I got it. I'm not going to start paying Netflix for for individual programs. The people comparing
that reasoning
they're offering, right? So Motorsport, the reboot Motorsport, and Gran Turismo 7, it's such a weird thing to compare these two games because they're not designed for the same market. They're not for the same people. Like there's not as much overlap between those two games. Like Gran Turismo will change makes it Gran Turismo in order to be comparable to Motorsport, or Motorsport would have to change like its visual aim, its design, all that stuff. They're both like slightly more semi-serious racing sims. Like they're not hardcore sims, but they're like more on the simulator side, and that's where it stopped. The people who design them are not designing them with the same like different ideas. And if you like Gran Turismo 2 and Gran Turismo 4 and Gran Turismo 5, you like Gran Turismo 7 if it was like a Motorsport. Why would you do that? There should be two games that are different.
I have to disagree with you on that one, Gendo. Like the reason why people compare these games, specifically those two, is because of what usually happens at the end of the year, which is when it's time to decide which one's the best simulation racer. They will put Forza Motorsport versus Gran Turismo 7, and whoever wants to be third. That's what will happen. So when that happens,
Second,
it just
Assetto Corsa or
reinforces.
something.
Sorry.
Come second to Assetto Corsa or iRacing or something like that. I mean, these are
Yeah.
console sim races. No, they're not that serious, honestly.
Yeah, Assetto
Regardless,
Corsa is
my
massive for
point-
driving sims and stuff like that.
Yeah, but my point is that when that happens at these award shows, especially the main one, it just reinforces the mindset of the people that consume these games. So the arguments that people form around the games will also include the psyche of the people that give the awards out. I mean, there's a reason why you can't go 2 days without seeing someone talk about The Last of Us 2 being the most awarded game of all time. You know? So I'm not saying they're right. I'm just trying to justify where they're coming from.
Understand that. Look, the way I put it on Twitter is I said, Turismo is smooth jazz and Motorsport's rock and roll, right? That's that between those two games. Different textures.
So that's why I don't like Gran Turismo anymore.
That's always smooth jazz.
I used to like jazz. I stopped liking jazz. So that's what happened. Okay, quiz time, ladies and gents.
Oh,
Get your pens and papers out.
oh no, prepare to lose to me because I'm better than both of you.
Cozy, you only have one victory.
That's
You
because I've
only
been letting
have
Ham
one
win. I let Ham win. Because I know his ego couldn't
Alright,
handle
alright.
losing.
Oh Lord.
Okay, okay, hold on. I need to find something to put in my hand so I can. All right. Yeah, I got one of these sweets here.
Oh, the watermelon potato salad was so good, you guys.
Okay, so I'm gonna put this in one of my hands, and you guys.
I bet you are gonna put it in your hand.
Gendo, you will get to pick which hand to see if you go first or not. Which one is it in? This one or this one?
Your left.
My left, this one. Unfortunately, you will not be going first. Okay.
You're not gonna just let the guest
Ham,
go first like you did the other times? What do you have against
I did just give him a chance to.
the previous
to
times?
pick
You
if he's
said,
gonna go
"Oh,
first.
you're the guest, so you go first."
Ham,
And now you're saying,
Ham
no.
and Cozy.
You're right.
Ham
You're
and,
right. You're
okay.
right.
My right?
Mm-hmm.
God damn it. Okay, it's here. So Ham goes first. Gendo goes second. Cozy goes last for being mouthy.
Oh, did you just call me mouthy?
Mouthy.
I will
Ham,
fight you.
here we go. Ubisoft will be present at Gamescom 2023. True or false?
2023.
Yeah.
False.
Ham scores the first point. Gendo, PlayStation and Xbox have confirmed that they will be skipping Gamescom. True or false?
True.
False. It's PlayStation and Nintendo that have confirmed that they'll be skipping Gamescom. Cozy,
Yeah.
Gamescom will take place this August. True or false?
True.
Okay, that's a lucky point. Okay, Cozy scores. Ham, there are a total of 13 Persona games in the entire franchise, not counting re-releases and mobile games. True or false?
How many did you say?
13.
Here, let me pull out my phone. No, I'm just kidding.
Bro.
I'm gonna say true.
Damn. All right. Ham scores again. Gendo, Persona was the second role-playing entry in the Shin Megami Tensei franchise to be released in Japan. True or false? Do you want me to say that again?
I know what you said. I'm just trying to remember if they put out more SMT games before the first Persona game came out, because it's a spin-off. The hell, I'll sell true.
False. It was actually the first. Cozy.
Hang on. What do you mean? Do you mean Persona came out before SMT?
No. Persona was the first role-playing entry in the Shin Megami Tensei franchise to be released in Japan.
Okay, so I misunderstood the question, but that's cool.
Okay. Cozy.
Yeah.
As of October 21st, P3, 4, and 5 will be available on Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox. True or false?
First, fall.
Damn, Cozy.
Thought you
Very
said it
lucky
was another
today.
20.
Gee.
It was not 21st though.
Sorry?
I don't remember you saying the 21st.
No,
I feel
you
like
only
it's
got that.
October.
No, it actually is October 21st, but only Persona 5 will be available on Nintendo. So you got lucky on that one. Okay. Oh, this thing is bugging out. Damn it. What is going on?
It's that Texas internet.
Cozy, I will find you.
I'm afraid because I know how you Texans love your guns. If I show up missing,
Let's
you
move
know
on.
what happened.
Let us move on.
Deep
Ham?
in the heart of Texas.
Oh, is Ham? Okay. Ham went to take a leak.
Then he loses a point.
All right. It's working again. Ham, will you be back? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm right here. I'm right here.
All right. Ham, Sonic Frontiers is a 3D game. True or false?
3D? True. Come on.
Sonic Underground.
Answer the question, please, so we can move
He
on.
answered it.
Yes.
Stop with your Texas
All right.
internet.
Bite me, Cozy.
What a
Gendo.
question.
Gendo, the main villain in Sonic Frontiers is a girl named Beige. True or false?
No idea. I'm just going to say false.
Point. Gendo is in the game.
See, now that
Cozy,
was a
you're gonna miss
much
this
harder
one.
question than mine.
Okay, I'm
Cozy,
prepared to
this
miss.
The writer for Sonic Frontiers is Ian Flynn. True or false?
Ball?
It's true. I got you good.
Yeah.
Ham.
You realize
Quantic Labs.
it's a 50-50 and I've been guessing on all of these.
Yeah, right. Ham. Quantic Lab are based in Romania. True or false?
Ooh, this is a good one because I don't know it, but I am going to say true.
Jeez, I think Ham's gonna win today. Point
think
for
so.
Ham Solo. Yeah, again. Gendo. Cyberpunk 2077 has sold over $40 million in sales. True or false?
True.
Gendo is now 2-2 with Cozy. Cozy,
Yeah.
the CEO of Quantic Labs is Duvan Sekarescu. True or false?
Oh,
Sorry?
false. False.
Damn it. Cozy scores another point.
How many more questions are
last
left?
one. Ham,
Oh, last one?
this is the last one. Ham, the creator of Monkey Island is Ron Gilbert. True or false?
True.
Wow, Ham. For the first time, someone had actually done a clean sweep and got everything correct. Well done, man. Jeez. You got everything right.
Randy Orton?
Wow.
And he
Wow.
still doesn't
Okay.
know why kids love Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Fuck you, Cozy.
Okay. Let's see. Cozy, let's see if you embarrass yourself and lose to a first-time guest. I mean, if this was Gendo's second or third time, we could understand. But the first time, come on.
You realize I'm
Gendo,
shameless.
here's your question, Gendo.
Oh, for sure.
Escape.
Hey.
All right, guys, settle down. Gendo, Escape from Monkey Island was released in the year 2000. True or false?
False. It feels
Oh, dude,
tease.
I wanted you to get it right so bad. Oh my goodness, it's true. Come on.
I played it in
Ah,
1999, but okay. Oh, you should escape.
No.
Oh, that's Curse. Ah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
Bro.
I mixed mistake.
Man, I really wanted Cozy to come in last. Okay, Cozy, if you don't get this one right, you will come in last on the technicality that you were the last one answering the question. So you have to get this one right.
I'll get it wrong just on purpose. I'm gonna get it wrong. I'm gonna get it wrong just to spite you.
All right. Here goes. The main protagonist in the Monkey Island games is Guybrush Threepwood. True or false?
False.
Yes, Cozy got it wrong. So Cozy is third, and
Fun fact,
our
did you
guest-
notice that I answered false to every question?
No, I didn't. So Ham, you now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wins in the quiz. K Mega is the only one to win a quiz on
K-Mega.
They Said We Said. He's the only guest actually to win a quiz. Gendo, better luck next time. This was fun, guys. This
Yeah,
was
Gando,
very
you
fun.
gotta come back again for sure. Hopefully, we have better,
Yes, yes.
better audio quality from you and Loke next time, because that was a little rough.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
I would have to move continent.
I thoroughly enjoyed Gando's opinions. Though, like he had some good shit to say. He's knowledgeable. And, you know, he's not just guessing on a lot of stuff he says. He says it with passion. So I really appreciate him coming through.
Yeah.
And
This was fun, Gendo.
Electricity the next time that we do this, then I'll have better audio equipment. Like I live like a really expensive to my right here that doesn't work unless I plug it into the wall. So
I'm just
I have to
saying,
get a
it's
power
that
bank.
African internet. African internet.
That's not how we dance. Damn, that's not how we dance.
My internet, I have gigabit fiber.
Do you? That's what's up. That's what's up. What's up with the
Gigabit
electricity
fiber.
there, though? Like I believe Loke and what was it, the gentle one, or who was the other person that you were talking to on Twitter about this electricity
It's the
situation?
gentle one. Oh, Oz. It's Oz the Wiz.
that
He's
was
in
Oz.
Johannesburg.
Okay, so what's going on with the internet there? Can you guys or not internet, but the
It's
electricity?
electricity. Yeah, Gendo.
Not
Please.
that complicated, to be honest. They enough electricity for white people, and everybody had to be electricity, and there's not enough for everybody, especially because the stuff got
Fuck off!
broken down. Like that's literally what happened, right? The previous government didn't care about building electricity for people.
No.
And so there's just not enough of it to go around, and the stations keep breaking down, so the amount of electricity is getting less and less. No one's fixing it because the current people who are in charge keep stealing the money. So screwed in both directions. But
You know what I heard?
Yeah.
Ham. Sorry, Gendo. What I heard is, well, it's not something that I heard. It's actually something the government announced in Mozambique in 2014. When we finish building those two hydraulic banks or rivers or whatever, generators. We sold electricity to South Africa because we have excess electricity. So for me, it's like you guys have your own electricity. You bought more electricity and you're still doing cuts. Yo, something is off. Something is very
It's
off.
really complicated because what's happening is that a lot of stations that should be online are not online because if you don't have maintenance, it's a lot harder to fix something that breaks than it is to maintain something and prevent it from breaking. And at one point, you have certain kinds of power generators are not meant to be on all the time, like the open turbine diesel generators are only supposed to kick in when like at peak times, like in the evening, people switch on all their heating equipment and stuff. Those
The AC.
they come on, and when nighttime everybody goes to sleep, they go off again, and then you've got coal and we have one nuclear station giving back. What they started doing is they just started running those things all the time. Running they've got these hydro reserve tanks stuff all the time. So we are now using emergency generating capacity to provide electricity for mainstream use, and those things are not supposed to be don't have high lifetimes. A lot of the power stations are past their design life, so they've got like steam pipes bursting and the boilers are breaking apart. The new just exploded like last year because because of operator error. There was like a high buildup and it destroyed the boiler, and now it's going to take 4 years. That's what they.
Wow.
So yeah, what we're doing is like we're hiring like floating power ships from Europe. I've got power stations on boats that like dock on the coast, and they put wires over onto the land, and then give us electricity that way. And it.
What about buying your own generators like solar and all that?
Can do that, but poorest countries in the world, in like per capita income, converting. I rent a house, so I have no way of converting the house because the landlord would have to. It's a permanent change to the house. You can't just do that if you're renting. He's not going to pay for it. He doesn't live here. It costs conservatively like 10 to 20,000 US dollars to convert like a house for a family of 4 so that it can run off grid. Outside of the realm of possibility for 99% of the people, 99.9% of the people who live here. Like the average like salary here is $1,000 a month, and that's actually a skewed number because it doesn't take into account how many dependent people have. You have somebody who's earning that amount of money, but they've got like they don't just have to take care of like their own children; they have to take care of their grandparents. They've got to take care of extended family. So in terms of disposable income for this kind of stuff, it's completely out of the question for most people. Like we have one unequal economies in the world. Wealth gap between the richest people and the poorest people in South Africa is like a lot of the stuff that happens in this country. If it happened anywhere else in the world, there would be like constant riots in the streets. Like if you had unemployment numbers, like what is it's like 5% or something or less. Like if it goes over 5%, people start protesting. Like in this country, the real unemployment rate's over 5%. Like the official one is like 35.7, but like if you count the people who've given up looking for work, it's over 50%. So it is a very dire situation. So the power that's a big deal, right? The power is an issue because you can't grow the economy without it. But it's almost like we have bigger problems than that. Electricity is like at least you could solve electricity by building power stations, and you can borrow money from some. And if it doesn't all get stolen before it gets to the power station, then the power station there'll be electricity. But we have like way more that cause a death spiral, right? If it was just the one thing, that's one thing. But what all these different problems, It's like a domino effect. Something happened 200 years ago, little domino, and that fell over, and then what you see today is like the result of a little domino flick. Okay,
Good. I'm
sorry.
feeling very guilty about talking about video games after the picture you just painted. What the hell?
I mean,
Jeez.
I'm not trying to be negative. I'm trying to just like tell you realistically what's going on here.
No,
So
it's the truth. It's
I've
the
got,
truth.
I've
It's the
got
truth.
like 12 hours a day at this point, because like between 8 and 12 hours a day, I've got no electricity, and I'm in the very privileged position where I can at least go and I can buy like a backup power portable backup unit or something, so that I can keep working and affect my life that much. But not the case
That was
for
a
the
lot.
vast majority of people.
Man,
Sorry,
you
what's that?
getting roasted
Yeah.
in the
12
chat.
hours is a lot.
I'm
No.
not even getting roasted. I'm getting torn to shreds, man. I'm in pieces right now. Jesus.
Deserved.
Jesus.
Yeah, you Texan with your
Okay,
privileged Texan.
Ham, I would like for us to engage. Gendo, I don't know if you want to stay for this, but I would like for us to engage in that the philosophical conversation you're bringing up about communication and how it's breaking down. Or would you
Yeah,
rather
sure, man.
leave now?
Nah, but what time is it now? It's like it's midnight, so I
It's
guess
midnight.
in another 15 minutes or something.
Wait, are we seriously gonna have like
Ham,
a fifth Osaka World Cup? Yeah.
Ham, are you done?
So no, we can go on ahead and talk about that real fast. No problem. But like,
All right.
yeah.
All right.
So as I was saying earlier, I just think that, and it's hard, and it's sad to, it's really sad to see, because like, I feel like people don't really know how to communicate things properly to the point where people, and this is also a listening issue too, because people are so eager to be right about things that they forget that, hey, like you're having a conversation, you can be wrong, you can take an
Reading
L.
comprehension too.
You know, I mean, it goes all across the board when it comes to communication, and I'm guilty of it sometimes. Sometimes I don't read every single thing, but the thing is, are you willing to let somebody teach you what's right and what's wrong? And I feel like this day and age, people are so eager and so like needing to be right, and if they're, you know, not correct, they will go beyond what's necessary to be said and start like almost getting, you know, offensive, or they'll bring up a different topic that has nothing to do with the topic that's at hand to try to prove that, yo, I'm smarter than you, or I know more than you, when they're literally telling you the facts. You could be reading the literal facts right to them at some
Word
points.
for word.
Word for fucking word. And they'll still say, you know, that's not right, or that's, or you're wrong, or you're just, you know, an X-bot or a pony or an idiot or whatever, you know. And it's really just annoying. And at the end of the day, you end up noticing that you spent a half hour, an hour, 3 hours, days on end getting nowhere because nobody wants to cooperate. And I think that's a big piece of it as well, is communication and then also cooperation. If you're gonna argue in the first place, why wouldn't you want to know where the other person's coming from so you guys can find a common ground? Because I mean, you see it in politics all the time, where one group will say something is wrong, something is wrong, something is wrong. And then a couple years later, they'll be the ones doing that thing that they just said was wrong. So it's just
Can I quickly interject, Ham?
So yeah, go on ahead, because I'm getting kind of heated thinking about this.
Yeah. I specifically like looking when we're talking about anything. I like to look at the history of it or the precedents for it. And first off, my point of view is that America is to blame for the breakdown in communication. Not only because y'all created social media, but also, um,
But what does that help,
Gendo,
Lo? Blaming, what does that
I'm
help?
sure. Hold on, let me finish.
Go
Let
ahead.
me finish. Because if you don't know where you're coming from, then you don't know where you're going. Okay,
Fair.
Gendo, I'm going to bring up something that I think you also had in your education that I had. When America was brought up in our school system, the universal picture that was painted was an open society and a place where disagreement was almost maybe not glorified, but it was welcomed. And we saw that as something to aspire to, because here, for example, we don't have that most of the time. It's usually one way, it's ANC for the last 20, 30 years. It's whatever was before the ANC for I don't know how long. And that's the same story for 90% of the African countries, because only 8% of the African countries have ever switched political parties without having a civil war. So for me, what I noticed as I grew up is that lots of trends started in the US and then spread to Europe and then spread everywhere else in the world. And this one specifically about like my truth, there's no such thing as subjective truth. There's now only no, there's no such thing as objective truth. There's now only subjective truth. So everyone has their own version of the truth. These types of thoughts and philosophies and closed-mindedness to people being different from you in terms of thought and ideas, for me, that started in the US. So
You find that?
what do you think about that, Gendo?
Complicated. I don't know about the statement about it starting in the US, because is like postmodernist thinking, right? It's and postmodernism has like strong European roots as well. A lot of that stuff was like confined to the academy. It was confined to academic spaces. It sort of started bleeding over into mainstream society as these things sort of happen. And I think what often happens is that like average people spending their time in like liberal arts lectures and like reading papers and sort of postmodernist journals and that kind of stuff. A lot of these talking points and what activists use in their playbooks and that sort of stuff, it gets squashed a little bit. Example, it gets twisted. It's like it's like a game of telephone. The words don't come out right at the other end. There's something called implicit bias. I don't know if you've ever heard of implicit bias, but it's this idea that people can be prejudiced and not be aware. And there's the guy, I think it's Daryl Wing Su. I might be wrong because there's a big. They came up with this idea of implicit bias. There's this. I might be misattributing implicit bias to Su, but he's definitely involved with microaggressions. So his research, he says something, what it means, what the applications are, all that kind of stuff, and then like people kindergarten version of that and ran with it, and it became something entirely different, to the point where the original research had to go, I've got to wash my hands of this, because what I created, it
was that bad.
Because academics or people in social sciences write something like this, we're always you always say something precisely, try to communicate as precisely as possible, and you're very, very conservative. You try not to say things that you don't have evidence for, that you don't have a very reason for, and your definitions have to be crystal clear. So in that sort of writing, you have something that's called a stipulative definition. So a stipulative definition is where you define a word as or racism or gender, whatever term you want. You define it in a very specific way for the sake of your argument. Like at the start, you say, these are my stipulative definitions. When I use this word, this is exactly what I mean.
That's stupid.
Yeah, so you can't have a discussion with someone based on that.
That's the only way you can have a discussion, because you have to, when two people are talking about this, both have to be clear on what the words they're using mean. Because language, and language has an issue, not an issue, but by its nature, multiple meanings. That's why there are multiple definitions in a dictionary when you look up a word, right? So when I write something for somebody else to have as a clear transfer of my ideas into somebody else, you very clearly define what do you mean when you say something. Because a word like gender or a word like racism have many different meanings. So the stipulative definition of racism would be something like prejudice plus power, but the colloquial that people use on the street every day is something different, like the being prejudiced against somebody of a different race, or it's more specifically believing that somebody of a different race is superior to your own, or that there are inherent differences, something like that, right? That's the common understanding when somebody uses that word. The average people have that sort of idea. Now, if you use that word from the stipulative definition in everyday speech, they don't mean the same thing. And then when you can start saying stuff that sounds like absurd, when you have that. So there is definitely the always room for misunderstanding. And like Ham said, well is a skill. It's a skill that you acquire. Some people are I wouldn't say born, but some people have a good feeling for conversation, but conversation and debate are two different things. People are debating, whether formally or informally. The debate happens in front of an audience, right? The idea is not to convince one another of your point. The idea is to sway the audience, right? The people who are watching you debate. It doesn't, because usually when people are debating something, they're quite polarized. They each hold a strong point. They wouldn't be debating if they were very close to each other in their positions. So what you're trying to do, excuse me, you know that your debate is being observed by other people, and you're actually trying to move people who are closer to the middle of the issue one way or the other. So personal communication, which is a different thing. One psychologist, I don't remember what his name is right now, his or her, I don't know. I only know the last names, the initials usually, that argued, they had a theory. People do not argue with each other to reach agreement or to reach the correct answer. With each other, you are arguing to be correct, not to be right. You are arguing to win the argument, not to be right. One of the areas where some people like question this idea, but it is sort of, even if it's really true, it's kind of a useful way to look at it, because it depends on what someone's aims are. If somebody has already decided before they start engaging with somebody, cannot be moved from their position, then everything they do will be twisted to fit that position. They'll interpret things in a way that we have when you debate somebody, there's something called the principle of charity, or when you read somebody's argument, you apply the principle of charity. So is you try to cast your opponent's arguments in the best light possible. standard. People don't
Cozy.
Yeah.
do
Sorry,
that.
sorry again.
I'm talking too much, man. Yeah, it's fine.
What'd you
Cozy,
say?
go ahead. What do you think?
I
I'm
just
saying,
think
what do you think about this one?
I'm just like, the entire conversation seems kind of stupid because, like, then people, I get the idea that you're trying to convince people that are in the middle, but it's like, it seems stupid if we're just going to be like, oh, well, you know, play the word game where, like, I didn't mean that. I meant it this way. Like, because that feels like something that, like, is rooted in, like, academic bullshit.
It's something that's specifically designed to prevent this kind of issue. So the academics themselves are not engaging in wordplay here.
But the common people are.
Yes.
So, and I don't want to. Common people sounds wrong. I guess you'd say lay people who are not into that.
The
People
commoners.
who are not into that specific,
The
like,
plebs.
hyper niche, right?
The filthy.
Who could blame them? I don't know anything about quantum physics, right? That's not an area I've got good knowledge on. So I'm like when it comes to that, and the average person does not care about, you know, research papers or the debates going on there in philosophy journals. So there's it's a common tactic that people use. It's called the fallacy of equivocation, when I use a word in two different senses deliberately to win an argument. It's still a fallacy if you don't do it deliberately, but when people do it deliberately, it's a tactic. Browbeat the other. So that's what happens is that's why when two people are formally debating each other, they define their terms beforehand, or they make sure that when I say a word, what I mean is what you hear. Not that you hear a different meaning than I intend, but if we're doing in good faith, then I don't care what you mean or not. I'm going to use whatever the worst interpretation is of what you say, the least generous interpretation. I'm going to take that as what you're saying. And when people start doing that,
so
the entire thing becomes pointless.
Let me add something on top of that.
Let's not be complainers.
Let me add something on top of that, because I didn't get I got a little bit of a chance to speak, but what I want to layer on top of that, because he's talking about the way that you use words, which is very detrimental into the way that you get somebody to understand or convey or be able to convey what you actually mean. But what is even more important to me half the time, because I feel like everybody just kind of, takes their word for it. Whether you give it like, you give their word, 5%, 10%, 50%, 100%, like you just absolutely trust that person. I feel like half of this whole communication issue is gesturing, and just the way that you come out and actually show your compassion and your actual belief in something, like the way that you move your body, the way that you're consistent with the context in which you speak. People decide to trust you because they... Hold on, sweetie. Hold on, sweetie.
Oh.
All right.
Why?
My
She's
bad.
sitting on the floor creepy like. She was sitting on the floor creepy like.
I don't know. No. She was kneeling down, playing with this nightlight, like plugging it in.
Kneeling?
I had to tell her to not.
Do you make your daughter kneel?
Before you? Wow.
Bro, she can squat butt all the way down on the ground. I'm just like, oh my freaking God. I could not squat that low to the ground, but kids, they can do that shit. It's crazy. But anyways, that's what I was saying. So just I feel like a lot of people 100% lost the way of how to communicate, or I shouldn't say 100% lost the way. I should say a very high percentage lost a way to be able to communicate face to face with people properly. And it shows by the lack of just interactions people have nowadays compared to maybe past, where words were more powerful and had an actual meaning, and actually people believed in those meanings, compared to them having 10 different meanings and you're wondering what the hell this person is talking about, or this person is just crazy, or this person isn't really speaking correctly. I just personally think that the more face to face and understanding people outside of your household, people outside of your state, people, outside of your country. You don't even have to really leave the country to do this kind of stuff. You can just meet people that are outside of, your neighborhood or within your city that are from all sorts of different areas of the earth. And you just, hear the experiences throughout all of them and compare them to yours in just an actual general, non-threatening attitude, which I think is the issue with a lot of things. So many things escalate because people like to claim it's passion when it's really just frustration. Like they're I feel like those that are most angry are the ones that feel most unheard. You know what I'm saying? They
Okay,
don't
so
really know how to
let's
communicate, so that brings on depression. You don't know how to tell people what's wrong properly.
okay, so let's close it off with some positivity. What do you guys think would be one thing that people can do to improve on this aspect? Gendo, go first.
Yeah, the
Just so we
easiest
don't
thing
sound
is
like serial complainers.
no. I don't
I don't think that was a
think it's that
complaint
difficult at
exactly.
all. No, it's not. It's just an observation. It's a good one, I think. I think that skill is active, what we call active listening, right? So what a lot of people do is they're not actively listening to the person that they're trying to with, is they're waiting for their turn to speak. A very
Right, man. You
different
just
thing,
said pretty
and
much
it's
everything
not.
that I said in a sentence right there.
Pretty much.
Here's
That's
the
what's
thing,
up.
like it's and that the reason that there's such a short is because it's very common. Like when we do any sort of therapy or help, when you help with expression or communication problems, or people who can't make friends, or people who have social disorders, listening, and that's also something that you learn when you become like a therapist yourself, or when you become a counselor, is you need to learn how to listen before you can do anything else. It's the fundamental skill. So what the other person is saying, caring about, and then listening to what they say, and only them to clarify, going, I don't quite understand. Do you mean this or do you mean that? Okay, cool. I understand. Keep going. And then taking the time, then formulate your response to it, give your response, and then you repeat the whole thing again. I mean, that is the fundamental skill of communication, to listen to what the other person says and make sure you and
Make sure you
don't
what?
automatic get the meaning that they intend. Always get clarity from them. You ask questions that are probing questions. You ask them to elaborate more. So somebody says something, you listen to it, and then okay, cool. What did you mean by this? What did you mean by that? You're not injecting your own stuff until you have enough from them to justify and say, I understand what this person's point of view is. If you don't understand the view, you say anything back, because you're literally to speak back to them. You have to wait until you've gotten enough of them response that means anything. It's just then it starts becoming something else. It starts people just yelling at each other, and you go nowhere.
Okay, Cozy.
Um, I am very pessimistic. I think it's an uphill battle. Because I think you get people who, I think it's like you're fighting against how a lot of, people spending time online and stuff like that has kind of like altered people's capacity to do this, to take these steps. Like, there's an entire culture of like, I just want to be right. And, being online facilitates, not reading things and just wanting to be right and not listening. And
So
I don't,
you don't think there's anything people can do to improve, even if it's just slightly?
I think there are things that people can do to improve, but the first step to improve is being self-aware. I think most
Okay.
people aren't self-aware.
So step one is be self-aware. Okay. Ham, what are your 2 cents on a
Man,
possible improvement or solution?
Am has no sense.
I mean,
Oh.
I think there's a lot of. I think there
You're
just
part of the
needs to be
problem,
more.
Cozy.
I think there just needs to be more clarity behind things, man. Like there's always things that are dug up and found out way too late, and then by the time you find out this thing is happening
Doesn't matter.
or is going
It's already
through, like
happened.
it's already happened. Like I mean, it's like what they call in the military, like the A-10 Warthog. By the time you get shot by it, it's already gone. Like you don't even see it coming. It's here and gone. Like as soon as it pulls up, like it's one of those just like sleepers. It just goes right over people's heads. So like,
If you've
I
seen
just
it, you're
think,
dead already.
yeah. Well, yeah. If you had the chance to see it, you're already bleeding. You're already down bad. So I think there just needs to be more clarity and just more and I think people need to be honest with themselves more, because I feel like people know when something's wrong, but they're so sunk into their lifestyle or the people around them that created them that way. I feel like the more we dig around the world, the more we find out that, yeah, things have progressed in areas more than it has just progressed. Because because what I'm not gonna say is the world is just was far better in the 90s or something. I'm not gonna go back and say that, because it wasn't. We're just able to bring light of situations now, and we have so many cameras, so many people with phones, so many people witnessing things going on, that they're able to call it out. And with that being what's happening, while there are crazy things like governments and whatnot going right under people, or like right over the top of your head or whatnot, there's just so much constantly going on that I feel like that we don't have any structure, because we don't know what to pay attention to. Every day there's something else. Every hour there's something else. Like there's always something that's down and out, something that's dying, and to be honest, and it's really just what you watch and what you listen to, because a lot of people want to subject you to their reality when it could be perfectly fine where you're at. But now you're depressed about something that's happening so far away from you, because you conditioned yourself to be angry at that. You don't have to be angry. That's why you go to the store and you'll see people just walking around happy. They might be on drugs. I don't know. But but what I'm saying is but what
America
I'm
first.
saying
That's
but
what
what I'm
Ham is
saying
saying.
is there are some people, and you can call them naive if you want, but you have one life to live at the end of the day. Do you want to spend it being mad? Do you want to help? Sure. But if you're going to help in a negative way, or a way that is really not helping, it's just distracting, then like I feel like that's when self-awareness really comes up. What we were talking about earlier. So yeah, I mean, I think it's being done right now with the awareness that's happening, but where is like who's gonna grab the ship at the end of the day and say, yo, let's all actually work together? Because I mean, these products that we have go from here to Africa, to Japan, to all these other places. We know what it takes to live, to be, you know, a good person at the end of the day. We have several leaders that can do it, but that platform has not been grasped by anybody yet to do so. So we're just kind of stuck in a limbo of negativity right now. And until somebody grabs a hold of the wheel, we're not really gonna know what goes down. And that sounds really like whatever kind of, you know, communist or like, I don't know. In reality, it's every society, because there's always one person of a country or one person of a nation or whatnot that feels like they're in charge. Like everybody, when something happens in America, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden. You already have that complex going on of, you know, somebody at the very top. But the thing is the person at the very top supposedly only has so much control. So there really isn't a person at the top at the end of the day. You know what I mean? There's no one really steering anything. So you know, everyone's just going everywhere. So we have no idea what we're really working towards, instead of like, because as of right now, we're just really working for, you know, a fiat currency. I mean, in reality, and I think that's kind of the world right now. The entire world is running off of just fiat currency. We think that it means something, but really we're just building something.
Oh yeah, fiat.
At Dragonheart Yobi says, Ham, years ago I went into depression. I feel what you are saying 1,000,000%. That's part of the reason why it hit me hard back then. I hope you're doing well right now, Yobi. Speak to someone.
100%.
My DMs are open. I'm sure Ham's DMs are open. We're not trained psychiatrists, but we're here. For me, I think Gendo was right again. It's in his name. Gendo was right when he brought up compassion. I want to use the video game community as an example. Like with the fanboys and the ponies, the exports, all this other stuff. In terms of communication, the reason it gets so toxic is that people have disingenuous conversations. Regardless of what point you're trying to defend, if you can't earnestly get into a conversation and be like, yo, I'm not trying, what I'm trying to do right now is sharpen my point of view. I'm not trying to make sure my point of view is right. What you're trying to do is sharpen it. So the only way to sharpen it is to go up against someone that completely disagrees with your point of view, and then honestly put your point of view right next to theirs and compare like point for point, and then come to a conclusion without being like too attached to what you think or believe.
Right.
It's something that I was taught. It's something that I was taught in school, and it's something that my history teacher says is like woven into the fabric of what the West is. And I feel like this whole discussion or lack of discussion and genuine debate and conversations is foreign to what I was taught, and it repulses me, but it's also exciting because the idea of talking to people that are completely out of their mind gets the juices going for me, you know, like someone that's always like, no, we don't need due process. This person, someone accused them, they're definitely guilty. But then the same person, the exact same person, will turn around and then start talking about due process when it's with someone else. And then you're trying to conversate with this person to analyze how their train of thought goes, and it's just freaking insane. So for me, I think the only way to move forward is if everyone can get into these debates and these discussions, not just trying to prove a point, but I believe PlayStation is the best because of 1, 2, and 3. And then if someone comes up with arguments that completely obliterate those points, don't just ignore them and then repeat those 3 points again. Take those points that the person brought to you, put them, compare them to what you believe, and honestly be open to crossing out whatever you believe in. Because the only reason humanity has reached where we are right now is because there's always been people that looked at this mouse and they were like, yo, this is nice. We can make something better. And products, I believe, we can easily be compared to ideas.
You're wrong.
The earth was hold on, let me finish. The earth was flat one day. It's not flat anymore. It wasn't cool for a man to be with another man. The idea globally has changed. It wasn't cool for kids to be taught sex education in the second. Oh, sorry. Let me cancel that one. Let me cancel that one. That one is still bad. That one is still bad. The point is, you can't get into a conversation. The point is, the point is, as soon as we can move on from being attached to our ideas, and oh yeah, Sensei says is right. It's humility and being humble and humbling yourself. Yes, the point, no matter what you believe in, if you're humble enough to compare your idea to whatever was presented on the table without being biased or being as biased as possible, I think that will minimize the discussions that are happening. Cozy, I'm wrong. Why? I'm curious
I
now.
don't know. I just wanted to tell you were wrong.
Why?
I just want because that's how
Oh
conversations
God,
go. You're
you were
wrong, and
trolling.
everything
You
about
were
you is
just
bad.
trolling.
Yeah.
God, I'm opening my heart here, and
And I'm
Cozy just
stabbing it.
freaking goodness. Gendo, you
But
sound like you look like you want to say something. You look like you want to deconstruct whatever the hell I just said or spewed.
No, no. I mean, it's the parable of the blind guys in a room with the elephant, and this guy's got a hand on a different part of the elephant.
Yeah, he can only see one piece
And
of it.
so they're all describing an elephant. The guy holding the trunk's got a very different description of what an elephant looks like
oh, I bet he
holding the
does.
tail, right?
The guy at the
That's
tail is putting his hand inside the elephant's asshole. Let's be honest. Come on. Let us be honest.
He's
It's warm
fingering.
in there.
He's fisting an elephant.
hey, who here has touched
I'm
an
all
elephant?
in.
Have any
Who's
of you
here
actually
what?
touched an elephant?
Yes.
I have. It's hairy. The trunk is very hairy. I never thought it would be that hairy. I thought it'd be slimy and shit, but it's hairy than a mother.
Only the tip is a little wet. That's all.
Yeah, but most of it
I
is
like spending
hair.
time with them. I like and they're great.
Okay, but what's your point?
Anyway, my point is that basically this whole discussion is that kind of thing, right? It is all of us are talking about little different parts of the same elephant. There's like a discussion. I won't say it's like a more primary issue, but it draws to like more basic human behavior that's being expressed in complex ways, but the fundamental stuff driving it's all the same. There's a lot about the way that we think and the way that we're wired. The stuff we have information overload issues at the moment. We were not evolved to be everything that happens, everywhere in the world all the time. And a lot of people, I don't want to say most people, but I'm saying a significant number of people have a problem where they anxiety over things they've got no control over, right? It's a common life skill that people have to learn. A very important life skill is the ability to worry about stuff that you have no influence over, right? Use your time and energy on the things that you can change, not the stuff that you have no control over. So if there's a war in Europe, I have about it. There's like literally there's
But if
nothing
I
in my
put the
power to do about
Ukrainian
it.
flag on my profile, less people will die.
Well, there's something to be said. There's something said for collective action by people. Like when people all do stuff together, it does have an effect. So but what you can do is you can send $5 to a charity, right? Helps displace people from where disasters happening in the world. And if 1 million other people do it together, you're actually going to make a change, right? You don't have to be Bill Gates to like have
Oh my
all the money in
God.
your pocket to do it. You don't have to be rich. If you have $5 and 1 million other people have $5 and you give it, make a difference. But in
Endo,
terms
I
of
want to fight you. I'm sorry. I want to fight you right now. Why am I sending $5 to Ukraine when there's a war in my country?
It's perfectly fair. I'm not telling you to send it to Ukraine. You don't have to do.
No, I'm just bringing up another point.
There's something called relative privation. This idea that you have to solve problems one or the other, but that's not how reality works. We do stuff in parallel. Saying, well, we got to cure cancer before we go to space. Fallacy of relative privation. It just means that we don't worry about this problem because there are other problems, right? Those problems don't depend on each other. So it's like people that say, well, we got to cure cancer and solve hunger before we go to space. That those things can happen at the same time. They don't have to. One doesn't prevent the other one from happening. It's a fallacious argument that people make to sway minds. There's lots of different
Logically fallacious. Hey, Ham, Gendo's coming back for another stream. Definitely.
Oh, absolutely.
This dude made me Google words. Damn.
Let me not like stretch this out. The point is that you're not. You need to like pull your viewpoint a little bit back to get the bird's eye view of what's going on, right? What you're seeing is the symptoms of stuff, not the disease. That's and I'm not saying I know what the disease is. The point is that you're seeing the results of something that's invisible, what's happening that you don't have insight into. That's why we do stuff like like collect data from like millions of people to try and figure out patterns and what's happening, is because a single person's point of view is too narrow to give you an idea of what's actually going on.
Yeah.
So stuff happens, go, that's weird. What's happening? Why is it happening? And then you get people that go, well, this is happening because kids are playing video games, right? That's when it goes like the nation people bring it back to video games. This is line of reasoning. People who play violent video games become violent and then commit acts of violence. And it's an irrational argument, and it's easy to debunk it. But people make easy. It's a spurious connection. It glance, it seems to make sense. Like intuitively, it seems to make sense. But when you actually look at it, it doesn't make sense. But when people are actually violent in your society and you're looking for answers, those sort of answers are really the right ones. It's usually some more fundamental thing. It might be so fundamental that your entire society on that thread. If you pull that thread out, society collapses. Or it could be something systemic that you can solve.
Okay. And on that note,
Anyway.
On that note, ladies and gents, we have come to the end of the 17th episode of Bullsitting on They Said, We Said. This was very fun. If you've watched all the way or listened all the way here,
you're a
please go to the comment section and tell us Also, go to the comment section and tell us if you would like for us to uh, consistently close off with IRL philosophical questions, just to bring it down to earth a bit. I had fun with this one. Gendo was right. Please tell us where we can find you and support whatever it is that you do.
It's on my Twitter account at Gendo was right.
As
Well,
usual, he's always
usual.
right.
All right.
This guy.
I'm gonna have to head
I'm
out.
not.
I've got to.
Ham, can you please see us out?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again for everybody for watching the show. This is Ham Solo, Cozy Beluga, and Loke7 as your usual panel. And thank you, Gando, for coming on the podcast today. You were fantastic. Like I said, I cannot wait for your audio to come in just crystal clear, because there were pieces that I was missing out of it, and I really wanted to hear like 100% of what you were saying. It could be because what I did hear was brilliant, but it's just like, man, if I could get 100% of that, man, fantastic. It was great, but really good, really good show, by the way, everybody. Fantastic. Make sure that you come back next Friday for some more bullshit, and 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Eastern, and whatever time it is in Texas, right? For Loke. or I guess
8 p.m. GMT. Bite me, Ham. I will get that cowboy hat. Yeehaw, motherfucker.
yeah,
Yeehaw.
that's because you're a Cowboys fan, right? Yeah. But anyways,
Oh hell no.
But anyways, check me out on Tuesday and Thursdays. I do Behind Them Sticks, where I interview random guests around the world. I'm definitely gonna have to get you on there, Gando, just so we could sit and just have a one-on-one, just chat about some stuff, how you got into gaming and all that kind of stuff, But anyways. I got J-Rock coming up on Tuesday, and it looks like Mr. Chivalry coming up on Thursday. So some pretty dope guests. I'm pretty excited to have them. Make sure you guys tune in. I'll be posting the times and dates for all of those coming soon.
As usual.
But you guys have a wonderful night. We'll see you later. And as I like to say, keep it gaming or keep it moving. Peace out.